Hello, dear friends. Welcome to a special story that will help you learn English and learn about a great woman in history. Today, we will read the true story of Florence Nightingale, a woman who changed the world with kindness, courage, and care. But this is not just a history lesson. This is a way to learn English, step by step. The language in this story is easy, clear, and slow, perfect for people who are learning English. As you listen and read, you will learn new English words, useful sentences, and how to understand English stories. So, relax, listen carefully, and enjoy the journey. Let's begin the story of the lady with the lamp, the woman who brought light to the dark and hope to the sick. If my channel is useful for you, please don't forget like my video and subscribe my channel. Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp. Florence Nightingale was born on May 12, 1820, in the beautiful city of Florence, Italy. Her parents were rich and English. They gave her the name Florence because she was born there. She grew up in a big house in England with her older sister, Parthenope. Her father, William Nightingale, believed in education. He taught both his daughters history, mathematics, philosophy, and languages. Florence loved learning and was very smart. She spoke several languages and read many books. But even as a child, Florence felt something different in her heart. She didn't want to just go to parties and wear fancy dresses like other girls. She wanted to help people. One day, when she was a teenager, she felt a strange and powerful feeling deep inside. She believed it was a message from God. "You are called to serve the poor and the sick," she felt it say. From that moment, her life changed forever. In the 1800s, rich women were not supposed to work, especially not in hospitals. Nursing was not respected. Most nurses had no education. Many people thought nursing was a dirty and low job. Florence told her parents she wanted to become a nurse. They were shocked and angry. "You're a lady," her mother said. "You must marry a rich man, not take care of sick people in dirty hospitals." But Florence refused to give up. "I was born to do this," she said calmly. "Helping people is more important than money or fashion." For many years, her parents tried to stop her. But finally, in her 30s, they allowed her to study nursing. Florence went to a small hospital in Kaiserwerth, Germany, where she learned the basics of nursing. The hospital was clean and quiet. She studied hard and learned how to care for the sick in a proper, respectful way. She learned how to clean wounds, use clean water and bandages, give medicine correctly, watch patients carefully, keep hospitals clean and organized. Florence also learned something else. To be a good nurse, you must also care for the person's soul, not just their body. She returned to England stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. In 1853, the Crimean War started. Britain, France, and Turkey were fighting against Russia. Thousands of British soldiers were sent to a place called Crimea, now part of Ukraine. Many of them became sick or wounded, but the hospitals there were terrible, dirty, crowded, and full of disease. Soldiers were dying, not from bullets, but from infections, hunger, and poor care. When the British public heard about this, they were shocked. The government didn't know what to do. That's when they asked Florence Nightingale for help. Florence agreed at once. In 1854, she and 38 other nurses traveled to the British Army Hospital in Scutari, modern-day Üsküdar in Istanbul, Turkey. What she saw was worse than she had imagined. The hospital was dirty and dark. There were rats and insects everywhere. There were no clean sheets or bandages. Soldiers were lying on the floor, bleeding and sick. The smell was terrible. Doctors didn't want women helping. They thought Florence and her nurses would get in the way. But Florence was calm and respectful. She started with simple things: cleaning, organizing supplies, cooking healthy food. She brought soap, clean clothes, and better beds. She made sure everything was washed. She also created patient records and used statistics to understand what was happening in the hospital. Florence worked long days and nights. She almost never rested. At night, when the hospital was quiet and dark, Florence did something that made her famous. She walked through the halls with a small lamp in her hand, checking on each soldier. She listened to their stories, held their hands, and gave them hope. One soldier said, "She is a ministering angel. When all is quiet, we see her light. She moves softly through the rooms. We kiss her shadow as it passes." The soldiers called her the Lady with the Lamp. Because of Florence's hard work, the number of deaths in the hospital dropped sharply. Cleanliness, order, and good care saved lives. She became a hero. When the war ended in 1856, Florence returned to England. She was famous. People wrote songs and poems about her. Queen Victoria praised her. But Florence didn't care about praise. She wanted real change. She wrote a long report about the war hospitals and gave it to the government. She showed how bad conditions had killed thousands of men and how better care could save lives. With this report, the government made changes to military hospitals and trained medical staff. Florence also used her fame to build something important: the Nightingale Training School for Nurses at St. Thomas's Hospital in London. It opened in 1860. This was the first modern nursing school. Women learned to be professional nurses with respect, education, and discipline. Her students were sent all over Britain and the world. They brought her ideas with them: clean hospitals, proper food and medicine, kindness to every patient, respect for human life. Florence didn't stop. She worked for many more years, even when she became sick herself. She wrote books about health and nursing and gave advice to doctors, governments, and even leaders from India. She used statistics and graphs to explain health problems clearly. Her diagrams helped people understand how clean water and good care could prevent disease. Even though she often stayed in bed in her later years, she still helped improve hospitals and save lives. In 1907, she became the first woman in British history to receive the Order of Merit, a great national honor. On August 13, 1910, Florence Nightingale passed away in her sleep. She was 90 years old, but her work did not die with her. Today, millions of nurses all over the world follow her example. Every year, on her birthday, May 12th, the world celebrates International Nurses Day. She showed the world that one woman, with courage and compassion, could make a difference. Florence Nightingale didn't just heal bodies. She changed hearts, minds, and systems. Her light still shines in every hospital, in every act of care, and in every nurse who walks gently through the night with love in their heart. The end of story. I hope that enjoyed from this story. Please like my video and subscribe my channels.